Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle a really critical question. As our jobs are completely transforming, are the laws that are supposed to keep us safe getting left in the dust? We're going to break down a new blueprint for workplace safety that's actually fit for the 21st century. Okay, so the thing is, the way we work has totally changed, right? We've got contractors, gig workers, people working from basically anywhere. But the problem is, the laws designed to protect us, a lot of them haven't kept up. They're kind of stuck in the past, picturing a traditional factory floor, while the real world of work has gotten way more complex. So, to really get a grip on how these old rules just don't cut it anymore, we're going to use Kenya's 2007 Safety Act as a kind of case study. It's a perfect example of a system that was built for a totally different time, and it really highlights the challenges a lot of countries are facing right now. So, what's the deal with this older model? Well, it's super specific. The legal duty for safety only falls on employers and occupiers. You know, the person who owns the building. This immediately boots out contractors, delivery drivers, and anyone who's self-employed. It's also really prescriptive, like it obsesses over tiny details like cleanliness but completely misses modern risks. And on top of all that, the penalties are so weak they barely make a difference. And, well, here's what happens, right? When the penalties are just a slap on the wrist, safety isn't a fundamental responsibility anymore. It just becomes another line item on a budget, a simple cost of doing business. Okay, so let's flip the script and look at a modern blueprint that actually fixes these gaps. We're going to use Western Australia's 2020 Work Health and Safety Act as our model for a system that's really designed for how we work today. So first off, the language itself gets a complete overhaul. This is huge. The law moves beyond the old idea of an employer to the PCBU. That stands for a person conducting a business or undertaking. Now, this is a total game changer. It means the responsibility for safety now lies with anyone who's directing the work, whether it's a massive corporation or just a sole trader managing a single contractor. And this is what's so brilliant. It totally transforms both sides of the coin. If the PCBU is responsible, then who's protected? Well, the definition of a worker expands to cover basically everyone, from full-time employees to subcontractors and the gig worker delivering your lunch. It doesn't matter what your contract says anymore. If you're doing the work, you're protected. Okay, this next part is absolutely critical. In this model, senior execs, they're called officers, can't just delegate safety down the chain and then wash their hands of it. Nope. They now have a personal, non-transferable duty of due diligence. They are personally on the hook to be proactive and make sure the company is doing what it's supposed to. And it's not just the rules, the whole philosophy changes. Instead of just following a checklist, the system moves to a proactive standard called reasonably practicable. This just means that businesses have to do everything that is reasonably possible to get rid of or minimize risks before anyone gets hurt. It's all about prevention, not just reaction. So, taking this modern standard as a guide, an analysis in what's called the GAP report lays out 5 critical upgrades that are needed to bring older laws, like that one in Kenya, into the 21st century. Think of these 5 upgrades as working together, creating this, comprehensive safety net. Let's break them down one by one. Oh, right. Upgrade number 1. This is all about closing that massive gap we talked about. By adopting the PCBU model, the protections go way beyond the factory floor to finally cover the gig economy, contractors, and the informal sector. It protects the people who are often the most vulnerable. Next up, upgrade 2. This one is designed to make senior leaders take safety personally. By making them directly accountable, you're ensuring safety isn't just some operational task. It's a core part of how the company is run, and it's driven from the very top. Now, this third upgrade, this is a really profound shift. For the first time, the legal definition of health is expanded to officially include psychological health. When you think about the huge cost of workplace stress and burnout, this makes managing mental well-being not just a nice idea, but a legal requirement. So what does that actually look like day to day? It means things like managing workplace stress, preventing burnout, and dealing with harassment have to be treated with the exact same seriousness as a physical hazard, like a chemical spill or a fall risk. Okay, upgrade 4. This one is all about flipping the mindset. We move away from a culture of just ticking boxes on some outdated list to a dynamic culture of prevention, where businesses are constantly looking for and controlling risks. And finally, the 5th upgrade. This is what gives the whole system its teeth. To make sure all this is taken seriously, the law introduces severe penalties with real consequences, including a new charge called industrial manslaughter, which acts as a very powerful deterrent. And look, the numbers here really speak for themselves. Under this kind of model, the maximum fine for a company for the worst possible offense could be $10 million. That is not a cost of doing business. That is a real deterrent. And for an individual, we're talking up to 20 years in prison. And here's the kicker. The law makes any insurance policy that would cover these fines completely void. You can't insure your way out of this responsibility. Okay, so you might be thinking, how on earth do you actually pull off such a massive change? It's not like you can just flip a switch overnight. The report lays out a very clear 5-phase roadmap to get it done. The whole reform is laid out in 5 logical steps. It starts with getting those core legal definitions right. Phase 2 brings in officer liability. Phase 3 is about empowering workers directly, for instance, by giving safety reps the power to stop unsafe work. Phase 4 overhauls the penalties. And finally, Phase 5 focuses on building a lasting safety culture by baking it into the education of future managers and engineers. You know, when you boil it all down, this whole blueprint really forces us to ask a fundamental question. Is safety just about following a list of rules, or is it about building a genuine culture where the health of every single worker, both physical and mental, is treated like the most valuable asset it is?